Yes, hello, it's another video by a guy that sometimes makes videos, and this time we have a short guide to being a lazy piece of shit like me. If you have been paying attention, we have one more Moogle Treasure Trove event happening before the launch of Endwalker. Starting October 19, you can collect irregular Moogle Tomestones of lore and exchange them for a bunch of things, including glam, orchestrion rolls, and mounts. This time around, you can get some mad drip in the form of the Inferno jacket. This jacket was apparently available on the Mog Station equivalent for the Chinese and I think the Korean version of the game. When someone asked on Reddit 2 years ago if it would ever make it to our servers, people hated the idea, and now that people are hyped about it, I think that says a lot about us as a player base. Anyway, if you look at the event page, there are several ways to obtain the tomestones needed, and they all involve clearing dungeons, trials, raids, or PvP in some capacity. And since I'm the kind of lazy player that likes to optimize, I did a bit of testing with some friends to check what is the fastest way to farm these. Why? Why would I find ways to play the game less? Because for me, the true end game is spending time on activities inside the game that I truly love, not on dungeons that I find as boring and one-dimensional as Lisa's character development. In the last Treasure Trove event, I spammed Aurum Vale about 120 times. I went as a tank and kept using Party Finder to find 3 blue mages to run with me, and I also pulled in my unpaid actors. With each run taking about 3 to 4 minutes, I was able to get all of my tomes done within a few days of casual grinding, so that's what we're going to replicate here as well. The absolute fastest way to gain irregular Moogle Tomestones is to abuse Blue Mage, and to farm the Binding Coil of Bahamut turn 2. You'll need between 4 to 8 players to do this method depending on how good your party is at playing Blue Mage and what spells you have available. The way we tested this was with me as a tank and 7 Blue Mage friends accompanying me. The spells your Blue Mages need are the following. You'll need level 5 Death and or Missile, as all the mini bosses before the final boss can be killed almost instantly with these. You'll need Whistle, Tingle, Moon Flute, and Final Sting for the Final Sting combo, and any other DPS, OGCDs, and primal spells will be really useful here as well. If your blue mages know the full Moon Flute opener, you can do this with 4 or 5 players only. I'll include a link to the Blue Mage DPS guide and rotation so you can learn the proper opener if you're so inclined. What you want to do when you get into turn 2 is you want to choose a route that only kills 3 of the mini bosses, as the last boss, ADS, gets more abilities per mini boss that you kill. Once you get into the boss room, you want to blast them with the full opener, get as many OGCDs as you can into your Moonflute window, and then pop the Final Sting combo. There is no real need to have an order in which you guys use Final Sting, just, unload your full load onto ADS's face and you're good. You rinse and you repeat this process. We did this twice and it took less than 90 seconds per run. An optimized group can probably do this even faster. You currently get a 30% damage buff from the Echo, which makes this really fast. Don't forget that you have to do this with level sync enabled, otherwise you won't get tomes. The warning on the event page says that tomes will not be awarded if you're using the undersized party option, but I'm not sure if that applies if you're using the level sync option as well. I'll test this when the event starts. If you are clearing in 90 seconds per run, this method will net you 2 tomes per minute. That is fast as fuck, boy. And you can also do this with a mixed group. You can bring a few blue mages and fill the remaining slots with regular jobs if you're using Party Finder or you have more people to bring along. If for some ungodly reason you would like to farm for the tomes in a light party context instead, we also tested the dungeon options that you have. Among the choices of the Either chemical, I don't even know how to fucking pronounce this. The chemical one, Balesar's Wall, Alamigo, and the Gimlet Dark. Balesar's Wall is by far the fastest and easiest. What you'll need for this particular method is a tank and 3 blue mages, or just 4 blue mages. I do, however, recommend using a tank instead because it is much easier to maintain aggro and to pull all the monsters together. The blue mages need the following spells: Ram's Voice, Ultra Vibration, White Wind, Hydra Pull, and any other standard DPS rotation spells, and primal abilities. Optional here is the Final Sting combo that you can use on the last boss. All you do here is you have the tank pull wall to wall, and have the blue mages use Ram's Voice to freeze all the enemies once you've hit the wall. One blue mage will use Ultra Vibration to kill all the enemies, so you have to agree on an order in which you use Ultra Vibration. The speed of this method is largely dependent on how quickly you can kill the bosses. In my test runs, we cleared Bales's Wall in about 9 minutes, which would give you 4 tomes and come to 1 tome every 2 minutes and 15 seconds. This is of course much less time efficient than the 8-man method or the Blue Mage farm method for turn 2, but this is a viable option as well. You may now make jokes about how this is more preferable for you because you don't have 7 friends to bring, but nonetheless, you'll get tomes regardless. I would strongly advise against trying to farm any of the other dungeons for this, unless you're also trying to farm for Glam or Poetics or Triple Triad cards. The Ether Chemical Research Facility is absolutely fucking cursed with how long it is. It's a nightmare for blue mages with how the enemy spawns are designed. This took me over 15 minutes to clear with 1 tank and 3 blue mages. Alamigo can be as fast as Bales's Wall, but its boss fight has way more mechanics, especially on the last boss, so I would be careful there. Gimlet Dark is just a long dungeon with how big some of the mobs are. Getting them all into an ultra vibration can be a pain in the ass, so the preference for me here is Bales's Wall. The other most efficient method is to play Rival Wings, which is one of those mystical PvP modes that a lot of people only ever play when the Moogle Treasure Trove event comes around, myself included. This method can be faster and more efficient than running the dungeons I just mentioned, but there's an element of RNG involved. The max length for a Rival Wings match is 15 minutes, but most tend to last 8 to 10 minutes in my experience. Now, if I remember correctly, you win more tomes for winning, so how efficient this method is in particular depends on how good your team is, and if my experience is anything to go by, a single well-organized pre-made team in any Rival Wings match can carry the entire thing, and since people will be partying up to farm for the Moogle event, I would expect a higher loss rate than usual. So a lot of people do prefer playing Rival Wings for farming the tomes, but I do not. My closing thoughts on the event are it's a little bit underwhelming to me, but that's just me personally, primarily because I've progressed so much into the game, so a lot of the rewards that are currently being offered are not exactly exciting to me. I have majority of the mounts. I think the Inferno Jacket is really cool, and I really enjoyed the community challenge and the stream that Square Enix ran for the jacket to come to our servers. I think that was a pretty cool event. I'll primarily farm the tomes to spend on MGP cards once I get all the items that I want. 10 runs of turn 2 is going to give me 30 tomes, which I'll redeem for an MGP Platinum card, which is worth 50k MGP. And I'm almost 100% certain that this is the single most efficient way of farming MGP, which I'm saving up for at the moment in hopes that Endwalker is going to add some new sick gold saucer items or glams, and because I also just spent 2 million MGP on Triple Triad cards for the mount. And that is all I have for you guys today. If you'd like to reward my efforts with a fat hit of dopamine, you can engage with this video in whatever way will appease the YouTube algorithm. Throw me a like, drop a comment below. Hell, if you're feeling particularly perfect of a legend today, you can even subscribe to me. If you know of any other GigaChat ways of farming the tomestones, let me know below. And I'm once again back to making videos. I took a bit of a break. I'd like to thank all my friends on the Alzahar Discord server that always help me with my content ideas, as well as the people that jumped into a party with me on a whim to test my Blue Mage strategy. I've been streaming fairly regularly, so if you'd like to see me trap my static in UCOB at the moment, you can drop by my Twitch. And that's all I have for you guys today. Peace out.